What's up, people of YouTube? Manly Machines back again. Today we're going to be doing an install on the old Jeep here, putting a console in. I had an old console. This thing, it worked good for the time. I got it at a yard sale for $3 and it served its purpose. But today we'll be installing this console from VDP, Vertically Driven Products. It can be had for, I believe I paid $70 from it from Quadratech, and it was on back order for a few weeks. Came in and here we are. So Jeeps need consoles, let's be honest. The factory Jeep console is probably one of the best consoles, but as with most Jeeps, they either didn't come with them or they've been long since taken out. Now this one, I put the Cavalier seats in a couple months back, and it fits. The seat belts fit kind of well between it, but I always hit the cup holder with the shifter, so it was time to put an actual cup holder that has a different configuration a little further back, and this one was perfect. Also gives me a little place to put my elbow. So we're already kind of partially through this project, and I said, you know what, let me film it for the crowd. So we have our Vertically Driven Products console, and as you'll see, I took out the change holder and I added one of these voltage power centers. I'll run some power up into this at a later time, but for right now I want to get this installed and have somewhere to put my elbow, and then we'll start working on this. This gives me a 12 volt though, and other USBs. I have replaced the socket up front with a USB. If you see a quick charge 3.0 there, and that was very easy. And then this is for my fog lights. In this day and age, you can have no shortage of USB ports because everything essentially runs off USB. Even my Garmin runs off a USB. So this thing's very easy to install. It comes with this bracket. Now you'll notice that I've already kind of made a modification to this bracket. I figured out where I wanted the bracket, but then I put the console and it was leaning too far back. So I decided that maybe we would add that about that much of space between it, and that was actually the perfect amount. The only problem is that once you do that, the hardware is just not going to work out. So what I did was I just took two very long screws, ran them through till I get two pointy bits. I marked in the bottom of this where I'm going to want this to sit. I've already pre-drilled my holes in the floor for these. If you'll see, I got one hole there, one hole on the other side, and that's exactly where I want this bracket to sit. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to hold this up to the bottom where this was supposed to go, run these down, and that should give us a secure back. Now the front of this isn't going to really move anywhere, considering that it sits on the hump, and between these seats it's pretty snug between the two. So let's get to drilling this in. However, I'm noticing one thing that's bothering me, and I think that it would bother you too. That wood is essentially the wrong color. So we're gonna hit that with some spray paint real quick, make it black. That way nobody can see that we've used wood as a spacer. And you guys will see when I put it in that it just pushes the console forward ever so slightly, but it made it sit so much nicer because it wanted to naturally lean back. Call this, now I wouldn't call this body shop in a can, but for all I use it for, pretty much is. Look at that. Look at that shiny, look at that wood that's now indiscriminate metal or whatever. It certainly won't stick out like wood, that's for damn sure. That's all I care about. Now's a good time to learn about painting. Long, even strokes, ladies and gentlemen. Long, even strokes.
In your world, you create any illusion that you want.
Cover your project. If you're worried about splatter, start over here. You gotta feel the paint. Feel the paint. Whatever. We'll let that dry and come back in a few minutes. And while that's drying, another thought occurred to me. I'm not gonna be going back under there anytime soon. So let's vacuum that out and hit it with that stuff. And now with some solid floors to look at, Look at those floors. Those floors look amazing. $500 this Jeep was. No lie. Bought it 2 years ago. $500 because the frame was rotted out and they were convinced it was no good. Now that frame's fixed. And I have a $500 Jeep worth plenty more than that here in Jersey. You know, they say paint is only as good as the layer below it. They say that. I don't know who they are, but whoever they are, they're the ones that say it. Call it hack, call it whatever you will, but it's clean and it's sprayed. And that's it. This isn't a concourse restoration. I just wanted to spray it down a little bit to get it protected because I had some spots that were uncovered. We could always touch it up more. I got to take the seats out anyway and fix the front floor. And when I do, I'll be glad to strip it all down and paint it all again. Meanwhile, our wood block isn't looking so wood blocky anymore. We can commit to putting this where it's gonna finally rest for the rest of its existence. Slice in the fabric here where I want this to sit. So therefore I am committed to that spot. Let's find our commitment tool. Put our fresh bit in because I know it's gonna happen. I'm gonna strip these out. And unfortunately, this is a two-handed job because I have to put pressure on it. So we're gonna cut and then come back and they're gonna be screwed in. And through the miracle of movie magic, we are now done. It is now mounted. You know what? I'm gonna put a little bit more on this one. Now you never wanna rush this part because you still have things that are wet. But I am an impatient man and the diner down the road is calling, so don't mind the shop. I keep saying I'm gonna clean it. We clean it a little bit and then something happens or we got a new project, a new thing, gotta install those. You know, it's just the way it goes. So let's drive our point home. This is one of the part I hate about installing self-tappers is my screw gun never seems to have the angle I need. There we go. That one's committed. Where'd all my self-tappers go? Probably in the vacuum. Ladies and gents, why I'm not a contortionist, I did find a way. Just lay in the back. It's filthy back here, but that is now securely mounted. Somewhat securely. But the big thing's getting those seat belts forward and then testing everything out. I'm gonna put some extra screws in here, pull the seat belts forward, and then we'll see what this thing looks like. And that's it. I put extra screws in off camera. Let me set my seat back in a human position. And then the biggest pain in the butt with all of these seats and all of these Jeeps and all of these consoles is getting the darn seat belt back into its place. And then let's take a feel. I know the color doesn't match. Whatever, you know, it's whew. Wow. That's comfy. And there's the screws. I'll have to do something so they don't mess me up one day. Oh, you know what? There's a tray that sits in there, so I ain't worried about it. The elbow feels good. Anyways, that'll be it for today. Do me a favor and go on and hit that subscribe button. And we'll do more with this, we'll do more with that. This is gonna get some time coming up real soon. We're gonna plastic dip those wheels, get rid of that chrome trim. And the Jeep over there, I don't know if you want to see us do anything on that. That's kind of all done for now. We'll do some bumpers probably in the next couple months. Anyway, that's it. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next time. I can't leave you guys hanging. My regular lights, high beams, super high beam. Do lights get you home? No.